Hey everybody, I'm Dave Thomas. Welcome back to another school year and another year of Principles of Learning right here on HHTV. I am Dave Thomas, your host, and Principles of Learning is one of these shows on HHTV where we give you a chance to get more information about the things going on in our schools and who runs them on a day-to-day basis. This year, we also asked our principals to spotlight a student, teacher, or staff member from their school who performed beyond what's expected of them. We'll let you know who that person is in the high school a little bit later in this show. But right now, we do begin our first Principles of Learning with the principal of Hatboro-Horsham High School, Mr. Dennis Williams. Welcome back, Mr. Williams. Good to see you again.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Good. Now we're at 4 years in. 4 months into the school year now. Let's go back a little bit and talk about some of the big stuff that's happening. A very busy start to the school year, and we're going to talk about some of those changes that we've had so far. But visually, we've seen things that we've never seen before. One of those first things, it was a hot election year, and we kind of rode that wave. We made sure kids understood the civics this year, right?
Absolutely. I think this year is a critical year for us, for everybody, because of the election, because of the issues. When you look at the demographics and the fact that 20 to 25% of this year's voters are kids that are under 21 years of age, it's important for us as a school, as a high school, to make sure that our kids think critically, to make sure that our kids are aware of what the issues are and how the issues can actually affect them moving forward. So one of the things that we decided to do this year, and again, I didn't necessarily have much say in this. This was an idea that was brought to me through students and also through Mr. Dan Maley, one of our social studies teachers and social studies department chairs, about the idea of a political convention. Coming off the heels of the Republican National Convention, then the Democratic National Convention, and some of the issues and things that happened there. I think the idea of our students of let's try and recreate the same thing here at our high school. Months and months of hard work and dedicated efforts went into this, and I think it was a success. It gave us an opportunity as a high school, again, to use some different types of technologies to gauge students' thoughts and opinions on key issues. It also gave our students an opportunity to truly hear some of the issues. A lot of times we get caught up in what's on what station and what our parents think and believe, and what the most popular news anchors think and believe in stations, but giving our students an opportunity, an equal opportunity, to hear what the issues are, I think was important, and it was very successful for us. So it was a first-time event for us. I see it definitely being something that we maintain in 4 years from now, hopefully to do something similar, even bigger and better.
Okay. And as we give our students all those perspectives of different things, moving from politics a little bit to what they're going to be doing after they leave our walls here at the high school, we had another college fair this year. And I've noticed a change over the last couple of years where it's not just a matter of, colleges coming in and waving their banner and saying, hey, you got to come here because we're who we are. I've noticed a lot more engaging process from the recruiter's angle to try to get those kids there. Let's talk first of all about the college fair itself. I know we have video of that we could play, but what have you noticed as the head of our school for what these people from colleges are trying to offer the kids, and then what kids should really be looking for to try to get themselves into that next level? Okay.
I think when we talk about what our students do at the next level and what we hope our students can do at the next level, we have a very successful program here at the high school, and we send anywhere from 85 to 88% of our students to 2- and 4-year colleges and universities. I think that what we've seen and what we've tried to create at this level are opportunities for our kids, exposure for our kids. So the decision some 4 years ago to include our 9th through 12th grade students in this college fair, and again, when you look at the size of our college fair, between 70 and 80 colleges and universities come from all over the country. There are not a lot of high schools in our area that do something like this. But what it does is it provides a lot of exposure to our 9th and 10th graders to get them to start to think about the process and what is it that I want to do at the post-secondary level. For our 11th graders, again, it's more detailed. For our 12th graders, it's real life for them. Many of our students have already applied by the time we have our college fair in November. Some of them are still on the fence, haven't necessarily made a decision. But what this does is it actually provides them an opportunity to make face-to-face contact, to determine here's where I want to go and here's why. And I think what we've started to see from a lot of the recruiters who also work in the admissions office at many of these colleges and universities is, again, their responsibility and how responsive they've been to our students as well. For them, this is business.
Yeah, exactly.
So the way that they approach this is important, is critical. What I've also noticed is the reaction of our teachers and how our teachers have actually embraced this. You see more and more our teachers actually having side conversations with admissions officers so that they can then take that information and start to have conversations with kids about, well, hey, if you're looking at this particular program, this school offers this. So that's what happens in the fall. For the spring fair that we do, I think is a little different twist because, again, many of our seniors have already either been accepted to schools, decided what they want to do, but we do have a population of students who are unsure what they want to do. Is it college, is it university, is it trade, is it the military? So that second fair in the spring is more devoted to that. So it's not just the college fair, it is the post-secondary fair, because there are plenty of opportunities for our students. I want our kids engaged in something. Success is not necessarily measured by which 4-year or 2-year, whether it's in-state or out-of-state. Is it private? Right. Is it public? Is it liberal arts? The bottom line is I want our kids, when they walk out of here after 4 years of high school, to be successful and prepared to be successful in whatever it is they do. And I think that we play a key role in that at our level in terms of providing access and opportunity and exposure in those areas.
Yeah, and just a short wrap-up with that is we've all been asked, by kids, hey, where would you go? Or what do you think about this? We're all guidance counselors at this point.
Absolutely.
As soon as they come in our door, you, to me, to everybody on the, where'd you go? Why'd you go there? What would I go? So you're right. It helps all of us to be able to go to those college fairs and have that type of information and accurate information to give to those kids.
Absolutely.
Well, this one, we could probably do a whole show on this one. PSSAs are gone, and the new Keystone exams are in. I guess we'll start with, what's the difference and what's the major difference, and really from the angle of our viewers, the people in the community, what will they notice as the change, and how will this be a benchmark that our high school, our school district then is judged by, and then how do you manage between that and making sure it's an accurate assessment for our kids, and also making sure that the curriculum of our high school is meeting those demands?
Okay. I think it's interesting because the Keystones is nothing new to us at the administrative level. We've been part of Keystone conversations at the state level for the last 5 years, but it's here now. We've talked about what if or when could it be and what will it be like. Well, here we are. And in August of this summer, this past August, it became the new state mandate. So PSSAs have disappeared at the high school level. Keystones have taken their place. The key difference is that with the Keystone exams, they're in 3 very distinct courses: Algebra 1, Biology, and then also English Literature, which is different than the PSSA, which was a standalone that occurred in writing, in reading, in mathematics, and then also in science. But it was only given to 11th graders. The Keystone is given to all 11th graders in the state of Pennsylvania, but at the same time, it's also given to students who have either successfully completed that course or are currently in that course. So what happens this year is we go from a population taking a state mandated exam that used to be about 400 to 430 students because it was only 11th graders. Right. To this year, we're going to test close to 1,200 kids in grades 9, 10, and 11 in those areas. So for high schools, it has created a little bit of agita because of the scheduling that needs to take place, the identification of who needs to take what students took Algebra 1 in 10th grade, which ones took it in 7th grade, which ones took it in 9th, because it is indeed a 7 to 11 test. So we have students at Keith Valley right now in 7th and 8th grade who, because they are taking Algebra 1, must also take the Keystone exam. So it really has been quite interesting. I can tell you that at the high school level, we did a ton of work this summer to prepare, including the first week of school, the first full week of school. We were doing benchmark testing on our students just to determine where they are and what we need to do 3 months prior in order to get them in position to be successful on the Keystone exam. So we just completed Algebra 1 and Biology last week. In January, we're moving forward with English, and then in Wave 3, which is going to be in May, we'll move forward with that as well.
And then getting back to I guess, for lack of a better metaphor, it would be the report card. Out there in the community, when they look at our building and they say, all right, they're doing okay because their test scores are like this. They get published in the paper. Other people will talk about them. They're down there at the Giant, the Wawa, and they're saying, well, their test score is this, blah, blah, blah. How does the Keystone measure us, in your opinion? Is it accurate? Is it not accurate? And obviously, we all know it's more comprehensive than that. But not everybody thinks about the comprehension.
About that. I think one of the interesting things about the Keystone is the Keystone adds a lot more accountability on the student, on the individual student. Obviously, the school district is judged a certain way because AYP has not disappeared. So we still have to make a certain percentage and show certain growth and progress in order to make AYP as it stands. Those numbers haven't been produced yet, and it's not projected yet, but we will still have to reach a certain number of proficient and advanced proficient students in order to make it. The difference between the PSSA and the Keystone moving forward, for those of you who are familiar with New York State and what happens with the Regents, if kids are not deemed proficient in those 3 areas, they'll no longer be able to graduate from high schools in the state of Pennsylvania. And that's a huge difference from where we were with the PSSAs. There was always that caveat of, okay, a student wasn't proficient on the PSSA. However, they've met all high school graduation requirements.
So it didn't really matter as much, right?
There wasn't that much flesh in the game. With the Keystone exam, life looks a little bit different, and it's important for our kids to understand that. And we've done a lot of work with helping them understand the accountability piece and what it means for them moving forward.
That makes more sense.
So,
all right, let's move on to something cheery, shall we? It is the holiday season, and Dennis and I are both heavily involved in a lot of this charitable stuff through Feed a Friend program, the Magical Mornings program, and the BSU Adopt a Family program, and there's so many other ones too, the Partnership Club, and Helping Little Hands. We have tons of stuff that we do around the holidays to help the people, both locally, right here in Hatboro-Horsham, and then of course a little more regionally too. Let's talk first about something that you and I talked about a couple weeks back. People don't necessarily always understand that there are people in our high school. We have a big high school, we have a lot of students here, and there's need right underneath our noses every day. Kids walk in the hallway that you might just say, I'm sure they're fine, because they're not in Philly, they're not in the city, they're not, and that's not the case. And you and I see that, but sometimes I don't think people in the community understand that there's need here. How would you address that?
I think that because of where we are, I think because of the nature and the makeup of who people believe we are, that there is not necessarily an understanding that we have socioeconomic issues and distress just like every other school district. They may not be as widespread, but we do have issues and we do have concerns. We do have families who are consistently struggling, and one of the things that we always talk about is our role in the community, not just in the high school community, but in the local community as a whole, to help those who unfortunately can't help themselves. We've talked about that quite a bit, and a responsibility that we have to engage our community and find ways, what is it that our community needs, and what can we do as a high school to try to provide that. So when you look at some of the things that we don't do anything for recognition, we don't do anything for attaboys and pats on the back. I think all the things that we do are done because of a need. And if we can start to teach our kids how to bridge that gap and meet those needs, they're better individuals for it. So when you look at what Partnership does in terms of taking down hundreds of clothes in the wintertime to Broad Street Ministry, when you think about what Student Council does in terms of the desire to feed 150 plus families in our local community, and the Magical Mornings program to provide gifts for young children, what our Black Student Union has done over the last 3 years in terms of adopting a family outside of our community, you get kind of warm and fuzzy and excited about the things that our kids are actually doing. And I think that as the building principal, and obviously as a teacher, it's great to give kids a direction and say, here's where I want to be, here's what I want to do, but to watch them kind of pick it up and do it their way. And that's one of the things that I think is so classic about this is many of these great ideas and many of these things that are occurring are happening outside of us as leaders. Right. It's our students who are taking on a leadership role and are really making these things happen. And that's one of the things that I'm most proud of.
And I guess, we'll take a look at the BSU drive there with the books last year and Adopt a Family for the book drive partnership. We'll have video of that on the screen too, and you've already seen Feed a Friend. When you, as the leader of this school, plant that seed in a kid, and I know I've seen it over the years, you have a freshman who they might be intimidated, I don't even know what I'm doing yet, but all of a sudden by the time they become a senior and community service just becomes the thing. What have you seen as far as the maturity of students? And then talk about later down the line, when you have students that come back after they leave us and that you've planted that seed, what are they like as a citizen? And obviously there's no curriculum for this. There's no keystone for this. But yet it's just good citizenship, it's just good teaching habits. But what have you seen as a result of all the stuff that we do here and just we just do it? And when they come on back,
I think, and it's interesting because I think we're actually going to meet one of those kids in a little bit, who's actually still here. But again, the growth from freshman year to senior year is so huge. I think that we have a responsibility to provide kids with information to make their own decisions. As the building principal, I am consistently talking about connectivity. With staff, I'm consistently talking about our roles and responsibilities of giving back to the community that has been so good to us. I think that because I am a Hatboro-Horsham graduate, because I understand this community, I think that I have a little different perspective. And I don't preach that to our kids, but again, I love to make our kids aware of what it means to actually be civically engaged and to engage in process. We always talk about, well, we want this changed, we want this done. Well, you got to step up and do something about it. And I think that once we do plant that seed, and I got to be honest with you, I don't really believe that I have a huge role in that. I think giving our teachers the flexibility and the freedom and giving our kids the freedom to explore those things, I think is better off, much better than me, standing up in an auditorium and hammering kids about what they need to do and how they need to help. Because again, a lot of the ideas, a lot of the things that we engage in, a lot of the things that are happening in our high school right now are through just small nuggets of, hey, here's what's going on. What would you do about it? And I think our kids have truly stepped up. And that's been, in my opinion, based on the emails that I received, the emails that our teachers receive and share with me, the conversation from kids who come back at Thanksgiving and over the Christmas holidays, the winter holidays, the feedback that they give us about, you know what, I went off to school, I was so prepared, I'm involved in such and such and such. That's huge. That's huge because I don't know what that would look like for our kids if they hadn't first had those types of experiences here at our high school. So.
Well, shall we fast forward a few months because the big week is coming up soon. After all of the clothing drives, after all that community service, we have one thing here in the high school that every year it's our thing. It is Red and Black Week. It is the Red and Black experience, shall we call it. It's a week-long thing, and this year a little bit different. HHTV is going to have a hand in this. Apparently, we're going to go to the power of replay. Describe the need, I guess, is the way we start this one.
Well, I think two things. One, clearly the last few Red and Black events have been somewhat controversial and a couple close calls and things like that. But I also think that just like everything else we do, we try not to remain stagnant and maintain status quo. So when opportunities present themselves, when new technologies present themselves, it's an opportunity for us to use it. We've become so reliant on the quality work that comes out of the HHTV program and the things that happen, the ability to stream live and the ability to do those things, that, again, here's a need. How do we remedy it? So I think the idea and the remedy that we've come up with for this year is the possibility of instant replay at Red and Black Night, which again should be pretty interesting. Hopefully it's not controversial.
Make sure the kids have steady cameras.
Absolutely. So yeah, we're looking forward to that. I know our kids will look forward to that as well. And again, it just adds another aspect of what we try to do.
And then anything different Red and Black this year? Anything new and exciting that we should tease a little bit?
There are a couple things that are under wraps. If I tell you, I might have to.
Okay, well, don't
so,
publicly threaten.
Absolutely not. That would be a violation.
And then,
but yeah, there's a couple new things planned that are in the works right now, and it should be another great event.
And of course, you'll be able to see it all here on HHTV. We'll
Absolutely.
televise just about every part of it that entire week, including the big gym night on Friday night. Now, for the last 2 years, students have had a chance right after the prom to spend some real quality time together. Last year, huge. First year, not bad for the first year. And last year, it exploded.
Yep.
The post-prom party, always fun to say those 3 Ps in a row, but huge success. What do you think, first of all, is making it a huge success, and then what are we looking forward to this year?
I think, first of all, this is something that, in my experience at Cheltenham, I was a class sponsor at Cheltenham before coming to Hatboro-Horsham, and one of the things that was such a feather in the cap of Cheltenham High School was, after the prom,
Right.
the post-prom party that the parents and other organizations put on, and it took place at the high school. So in coming here, and unfortunately, you hear the statistics about the at-risk behavior that occurs on prom night, the accidents and how those things happen. The talk was, let's try and provide something, an outlet for our students, instead of going down the shore, instead of doing different things and making it easy to engage in at-risk behavior. Let's try and create something that becomes tradition here at Hatboro-Horsham High School. We are entering our 3rd year of the post-prom party. First year, I think we had 130, 140 kids. Last year, we were up to just under 300 kids. I think that the facility that we use in High Point Athletic Club, 3 floors of nothing but fun for our kids, where for $5 from 11 p.m. to 5 o'clock in the morning, there's everything from movies to DJs to free food to laser tag, jacuzzi, swimming pool, masseuse, casino games.
I'm ready to go now.
Yeah, I mean, so again, it's been a great experience for us. I think initially the idea was getting the word out amongst the kids, for kids to start to talk and say, oh, you know what, it's pretty cool.
Right.
And I think the fact that we give away close to $10,000 in prizes is a pretty good draw also. Anytime you can pay $5, have a great night, and walk away with a 42-inch TV,
Yeah.
I think that kind of sells itself.
And you don't even have to eat 60 wings to do it.
Absolutely,
That's good
absolutely.
stuff. So this year, back on track.
Yep.
Big 3rd year, even bigger than the 2nd.
Yep, back on track. And let me take a second just to do this. I normally don't do this, but the work that goes into this event, I don't know if a lot of people realize, this is about a $15,000 event. And everything we do is based on fundraisers and donations. So the hard work and dedicated work of our Home and School Association and Post-Prom Party Committee has been tremendous. Again, in raising $30,000 over the last 2 years, and we're making our way there this year. So members of the community, any local businesses, organizations, or individuals who believe that this is a good idea to try to maintain and keep our kids safe, if you're looking at a way that you can help us out, please don't hesitate to contact me, because it is a great thing. We do want to keep that tradition rolling, but it's an expensive venture. But again, the hard work and dedication of that group and those individuals has been outstanding. We couldn't do it. We couldn't make this fly and provide this type of opportunity for our kids if it wasn't for their hard work.
Very good. Well, I tell you, I've been noticing there's a lot of illness in the building. There's sickness in the building. I've checked the temperature of some seniors. I have noticed senioritis is kicking in. We are just a little over 6 months away from the true date of graduation.
Absolutely.
Would you like to tell us a little bit about it? Details? I mean, you have the time, the place, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, June is quickly approaching. That second Monday in June is quickly approaching. And what we have planned again is another outstanding graduation ceremony, commencement ceremony, if indeed Mother Nature decides to cooperate with us. As always, our first plan of attack and plan A and what makes for an unbelievable graduation night is if we can be outside. That's always the hope and the prayer. Including the prayer of Dr. Griffin and I at 4 o'clock on graduation day.
Absolutely.
As the clouds inevitably always start to roll in and we have to make a decision. But yeah, the first plan is always to be outside. Again, however, one of the great things and the beauty of where we've come how far we've come as a school district and as a high school is we have the ability to stream live.
Sure.
So even if individuals cannot make the actual graduation ceremony, they can tune in, HHTV, they can check it out live on the web, and actually participate in the graduation ceremony. If unfortunately we do have to bring the ceremony inside, we're prepared and ready to run, hopefully without a hitch, where the graduation ceremony would be inside in the gym, which we can hold a large number of people, close to 2,500, 3,000 people, again, to participate in the graduation ceremony. And then again, still be able to stream live to our community. If people want to be in the building to experience, we also will stream live in our auditorium. So yeah, all's planned. We're ready to go. Just crossing our T's and dotting our I's to make sure that it's another outstanding commencement ceremony.
So just so they know, they have 6 months to prepare.
Absolutely.
The information's now out there.
Absolutely.
So 6 months.
Including weekends. Including weekends.
All right, don't go anywhere. As we promised at the top of the show, something new this year on Principles of Learning. We are going to spotlight a staff member, a teacher, or a student in every school this year that the principal thinks is going above and beyond for the sake of that school and, of course, the sake of our district. Stay with us, everyone. We'll be right back after this.
The HHTV department offers DVD copies of all events broadcast on both the television and internet. See an event you'd like to have a copy of? A win by the Hatters, a student-produced news show, or competitors struggling to win the annual Wing Ball. Simply email Bob Anderson at banderso@hatboro-horsham.org and include which event or events you would like to own, and your copies will be mailed out to you. Now you can relive and memorialize all your favorite Hatboro-Horsham events. HHTV now streams events live to the internet, from Crooked Billet Day to graduation. From the multitude of sporting events we cover throughout the school year, to the entertaining concerts we cover, HHTV has it all. To view the stream, click on the Watch HHTV live stream icon on the district webpage. View the schedule below the streaming window. HHTV web streaming. Never miss a Hatters moment again.
Welcome back, everybody. As promised, we are going to start the newest segment here on Principles of Learning. It's our Spotlight segment. So Mr. Williams has chosen a student this time around to spotlight Sean Raymond. He's our student student council president, student body president. Dennis, tell us why you chose Sean.
I chose Sean because I think Sean truly represents exactly what we talked about in our last session, the last segment regarding students who I think the light clicks and they have an understanding of what it means to engage civically, what it means to be a good citizen, what it means to give back to the community, not just the high school community, but the local community. So when I look at Sean in terms of how I've watched him grow from 9th grade and his role as a leader in the advisory boards, moving up to becoming our student body president, maintaining a high GPA, top 10% of his class, and knowing what his future plans are, I just when he does become the governor, I just want to be his Secretary of Education. Right. No, all in all, great kid, great ideas, engaged. He's one of the representatives to our school board, student representatives to our school board. So just some of the things that Sean has done, I think have really had an impact on us as a building. And I'm looking forward to what he's going to do post Hatboro-Horsham High School as well.
And my question for you, Sean, is this. You and I talked about this, ironically, on Saturday during the Feed a Friend drive. Question for you is this. Sometimes you get this rock star type student and everyone's like, wow, they've always been that way. Mm-hmm. And although you've always been a great guy and a good student, the leadership thing doesn't always just come. You came in freshman year, everybody's everybody freshman year. Right. But eventually you start to figure it out. And I guess my question for you, and so the people in the community understand, is, for you at least, how does that maturity progress? How does that just happen over time? Like, what choices do you make as a student to say, I'm going to start doing this now? How does it work?
Well, I think when you come into the high school here, it's obviously a huge step from Keith Valley. But I think the administrators, the teachers at the high school do a great job of really introducing you to the high school, And there is a big step up in maturity and expectations of you as a student now that you're in high school. And I think beginning in 9th grade, you start on that path towards becoming an adult, because when you want to be on that field in June of your graduating year, you want to be ready to enter the work world or off to college or that kind of thing. Really ready to be a mature adult who can be a good member of the community and that kind of thing. And I think, especially getting involved in clubs, sports, there's so many opportunities here to get involved that you get a good, they set out a path for you to become a mature adult from day one, and I think that's a great thing we have here. And personally, I think I've been a student council for the past 4 years, and the student council member I was in 9th grade, I'm not the same person I was in 9th grade. So because of clubs like student council, you really learn how to be a contributing member of your community and your school. And I think that lasts for the rest of your life. That's something that really is a lasting lesson for you.
But one lasting impression then too, because if I have an audience member right now watching and saying, well, I'm not in student council, I'm not in that club, I'm not doing anything yet. Are you saying that anyone in this school has the opportunity to become better than they think they can be at the end of 4 years, and then better than they think they can be for the rest of their lives based on what we're doing here?
Yeah, I certainly think that little steps can provide you with great rewards. Just trying out for the lacrosse team or stepping up to join Key Club. It may seem like a little step or even a big step when you're a sophomore or a freshman, but by the time you're a senior in high school, that could be paying off. You don't have to be the president of Key Club to be really getting a good reward out of Key Club, and you're really serving your community and your classmates and your peers. And I think you don't have to do everything to be a great member of the community in the school. I think to really be mature and to contribute to our school, you just have to do a little step towards being a good citizen, whether it's voting, whether it's donating to Feed a Friend, whether it's giving an hour or two out of your time to help out with Feed a Friend, whether it's doing Relay for Life. There's all kinds of opportunities here at Hatboro-Horsham to step up and serve your community and your school, and I think that's a wonderful thing that we have here.
Well, on behalf of all of us, great vocal spokesperson. On behalf of your student body, you're representing them incredibly well. Mr. Williams, incredible choice, and appreciate both of you for your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And that'll do it for another edition of Principles of Learning. Before we say goodbye, I'd just again like to thank Principal Williams and Senior Sean Raymond for taking the time to appear on our show today, and also ask you to enjoy other HHTV programming. Our holiday concerts are on the air right now. Our broadcast journalism class, Get Up and Go show, can be seen every day, as well as all the sports. Mr. Bob Anderson and Mr. Andrew Morris doing a lot of work behind the scenes to bring you all of that everyday program. Of course, all the students from the HHTV crew and all of the electives here at the high school that make the television that you are enjoying right now. On behalf of all of them, thank you once again for watching Principles of Learning. I'm Dave Thomas. We'll see you again next time.